Thanks for tuning in to the final edition of the Robert Morris Women's Basketball Weekly. Chris Mueller here, joined alongside Associate Head Coach and now Coach in Waiting, Charlie Buscaglia. And the Colonials, as you know, tough loss, fell in the NEC Championship to St. Francis Brooklyn. But overall, a great season for this young team. So, Coach, we'll get into it. Obviously the tough loss. The second half wasn't what you wanted, from a coaching perspective. Just bring us through that game. What went wrong there in the second half?
Well, you play a team that has 4 seniors in the starting lineup and a junior. A team that had been together for a long time, and I thought our energy was great. I thought we got them ready. I thought that Coach Sale and the coaching staff did a great job of getting the team really ready to go out there and run through a wall. And everything started off with a lot of energy. We didn't build a big lead at any point. I think the most we were up was like 4. They just were very tough to get out of their comfort zone. I think that a lot of teams would have folded with the pressure that we were putting on them and the things that we did early on, but they just kept together. And I think that's what the senior laden teams will do sometimes. They got real hot at the end of the year. They were playing great basketball, and when you get a team like that with a lot of experience playing well, I think that's why in the second half they were able to keep it together enough and put themselves in a position to get hot like they did. I mean, they really got hot, and I would say that our players never gave up, and that's what I was proud of. Even though it didn't go the way we planned, I was really happy with the energy and the effort, and I told them before the game that that's what it was all about.
Right, and they did put a good effort into defending that Northeast Conference Championship. Now the season is concluded. Just how would you evaluate how this season went with such a young team like that?
It was a season of ups and downs, and you're going to have to expect that with a young team. Having a young team, most of the time, people that just don't know about what we have to do at a Division I level to run a program will think that young team means young basketball, young X's and O's in their minds, young development when it comes to basketball. But it's more getting through the rigors of a long season where they're pushed to the limit, to grow fast and to understand there's going to be adversity. Our players this year were expected to grow very, very fast. All of our freshmen got in almost every game. Most of the freshmen started at some point during the season, and that's a lot to put on a freshman. But that's why these freshmen came here. They came here because that's what we allow to happen if they're ready to go. And I was really proud of that. No matter how many ups and downs we had throughout the season, I was proud of how the freshmen took on a big responsibility with a high expectation. We were picked number 1 this year, even though we lost a player that wound up in the WNBA for some time.
Yes.
We were picked number 1, and that's tough on young players that are put in that spot to say, you're not expected just to go out there and now compete at your freshman year, but you're expected to go out there and win the whole thing. So I thought the team handled that pretty well as far as getting through adversity, and then obviously at the end of the season making this run to just come up 1 game short.
Yeah, so you talked about the noticeable growth with this team. Almost everyone will be returning. How do you anticipate the off-season schedule to go forward, and is there anyone in particular that you're looking to see improvement this off-season for your success next year?
Well, yeah, I think everyone has a lot to improve on. Obviously some players had some great success out on the court, but really our mentality is, how good do you want to be? Do you want to be someone that you look back at your career and say, I settled for the player I was? Obviously the freshmen, have the most to work on when it comes to, developing not only their basketball skills, but understanding now what they went through this year in the season and coming with a mindset next year that is more experienced. Basketball X's and O's wise, I could never really point to just one player.
And you are a recruiting coordinator. Recruiting in this offseason will be coming up. How do you approach that process. Are there any recruits that have already signed that the coaching staff is excited about? Is there a position in particular that the coaching staff will be focusing on in recruiting? And the other question is, will you be going international once again for some of these recruits?
Well, the recruiting process starts so early now. We've had our 15 recruits signed before last April. Before they even finished their junior year as far as the commitment. And then obviously they signed with us in November. But, for this season, we obviously still always have our eye on some international players. Those are the type of players that you sign at this point in the season for next year. You could sign an international player late like this. American players, most of them aren't around past the early signing period. But, we're obviously looking in the future for just any type of player that's willing to come in and want to grow up fast. I think that's a very attractive thing with recruiting, is to see that we have freshmen out there that are playing right away. And, the sky's the limit for you right away. So, obviously one thing that I think we were this year that we would like to continue is be a big team. We had size. For our league in the NEC, we were the biggest team. And I'd like to continue on with that, because I like having someone in the middle that you can change shots with and also go inside to and post up. And I'm really excited about that. So I think look for us to continue to recruit size inside, and look for us to also recruit players on the perimeter that can really shoot the ball. I think we really this year changed a lot of ideas about Robert Morris with how well we shot it at the percentage. And this year we have 2 recruits coming in that have been signed since early signing period, who committed since last year. Nia Adams and Caitlin Roche, who are from New Jersey, played on the same AAU team, which was a Nike Elite team, made it all the way to Augusta in the Nike Elite Finals, and they really played well. So we're really excited about them. Nia being more of an athletic, long, great defender, gets to the basket, physical around the basket, even though she's lean. Caitlin Roche is someone that can handle the ball and really shoot it. She shoots it from far out, so it's nice to have some athleticism and a shooter coming into this team. I think they can help a lot right away.
And this international pipeline with your recruiting is something that's really interesting. How do you find some of these players, being so far away? And how did this come about? I mean, not a lot of teams in the NCAA, and especially the NEC, recruit as heavily international as you guys do.
Well, it started way back, the ties have been something that we've developed since, back in the early 2000s when I first started coaching. Just getting on the phone overseas and talking to your contacts, knowing who's looking to come over to the States, know who's good, maybe not looking to come over yet, but you're going to try to convince to come over. Keeping strong ties, going overseas sometimes, getting on a plane, going out there when you can, and meeting with people, meeting with parents, going on home visits. It's work, it's work. Also, sometimes you can't make that connection in person, but using the Skype and video conferences and stuff like that. We have a lot of international players on our team now, so a lot of international players like to see that. They like to come into a team that they know has players from their area.
And they attract them, yeah.
Yeah, they look at it and they say, well, there's 7 of them over there doing so well. This is a place that I can go to and do well then, because I know they have a system that's set up to take care of international players. So I think we have a great mix. This year we have 2 kids from New Jersey coming in, but our team has a heavy amount of internationals. We like to try to keep it at, balanced at 50-50 if we can, and if not, somewhere close to that. But I think it's something that we've made one of our mainstays with recruiting, and we're going to continue on with it. I'm very happy with our players that have come over from other parts of the world. They've done great.
And Coach Sal Buscaglia, head coach, recently announced his retirement at the end of next season. You'll be the coach in waiting. What has Coach Sal meant to this program, and what have you learned coaching under him for so long?
It's, Coach Sal's coached, this will be, 39 years after this season. It's a long time.
Right.
It's a very long time. I remember, being young and seeing him break down film. And back then we called it film because it was on a VHS tape. I remember him sitting in our living room till all hours of the night, writing down the numbers of the the clip that he wanted to bring in. He would come with these long pieces of paper, and it would have clips and clips and organize it. You have this number of player, and you have little columns, and you do it on like a scrap sheet of paper. It was crazy looking back at the career of how things were when he was coaching at my age, and now how things are for him. So you could just see the progression of technology and the way we do things and the way programs are run now. And he's meant a lot to the program because he brought a lot of experience. When we signed to come over here back in 2003, we were coming off of taking another team, Manhattan, yes, yeah. Manhattan College. We just took them to the tournament, and that was the first time they'd gone in a while, and we broke a lot of records there. But he wanted to build something. He wanted to build something again. He felt like at Manhattan, he didn't need to build it anymore. He wanted to come to an area that really wanted a coach to go and do it again. And when we took over this job here, I think a lot of people were very skeptical whether we could not only win the conference, but even take this team out of the bottom of the conference, because it had been struggling for so long since it had been in the NEC and Division I. So Coach Sale, I think, came in here with a great energy, and I think he's meant a lot to the program, because even after coaching this many years, he's been able to sustain it. He's been able to sustain going out there and being able to lead the team and work hard with the players in practice and do everything it takes to keep a program running well. And I've learned a great deal of coaching from him, X's and O's wise. I've learned a great deal of taking care of a team and understanding about what it takes to keep the team together in tough times. I have a lot of friends in this business. I've met a lot of people since I've been around it my whole life, but Coach Sale was one of the best coaches that I was able to come across. Obviously, being around him for as much as I can, you get to see someone every day, and you get to see all the things that they bring to the table. And I think Robert Morris was affected very positively, not only with women's basketball, but as an athletic department in a whole. And
you'll be taking over for what he built here. How excited are you for this opportunity, and what is your vision for the future of this program?
Well, as much as Coach Sale is a great coach, he's done really well. I'm my own person, and I have my own ideas, and there's obviously always things you're going to do that are not going to be exactly the same. But I'm very excited for the opportunity. I really am. I feel like after all the years I've been here, that it really made a lot of sense to continue on with this tradition and continue on with the stability of the program. And I was really happy that the support was 100% from everybody that asked me to do this. Meeting with the president and the cabinet and the trustees and Dr. Coleman. Obviously, he was the first one that brought me in and asked me to do this. I think that that made me feel like it was a perfect fit.
And to finish up, the program has received an incredible amount of support this season, both from the student body, the fan base here, and also your friends overseas, internationally. Is there anything you'd like to say to them, or going into next season and in the future?
Sure. Yeah. I appreciate everybody for all your support. Everyone that follows the team on our social media pages and goes on the website at rmucolonials.com. We appreciate you following along, watching all the games on live streaming. This season was a season of up and downs, but the Robert Morris Colonials really, at the end of the year, played really well, and they played really hard. And everyone that supports this team should be very proud of this team. And all you parents that are overseas that are watching your players all the way from Greece, Italy, France, Africa, up north in Canada, and all the kids here that are from the United States, you should be very proud of your daughters. They worked very hard this year, and it was a great season. We just came up one game short, but hopefully we'll be able to sustain the level of intensity that we had at the end of the season and have a nice start to next season and go on and continue with the tradition. So thank you everyone that has supported this program, and I hope to see you continue supporting.
And thank you, Coach, as always, and thanks everyone for tuning into this series. Next year I'll be back, Coach will be back, and the team will be back looking for another Northeast Conference championship. Streaming always is available via NEC Front Row.